Carl Sagan's The Demon-Haunted World isn't really a book built around the question of whether aliens exist or not. It has a broader and sharper concern. It shows how societies become vulnerable in a world where people are easily misled and accept information through feelings rather than testing it, because the human brain doesn't like uncertainty. It wants to quickly find a why behind events, looks for patterns in randomness, and focuses on examples that confirm what it already believes while ignoring the rest. And here's the dangerous part. These mental reflexes aren't just the fault of individual people. In the modern world, they're actively fed, almost like an industry. Pseudoscience, conspiracy narratives, and content that sells guaranteed solutions all speak the same language. They replace complex reality with a simple story, remove uncertainty, and give you the feeling that you've seen the truth. This is exactly where Sagan's book gets sharper. If a society gets used to weighing claims by emotion rather than evidence, the winner won't be the most accurate, it'll be the loudest. That's why, throughout the book, Sagan is really defending one core skill: asking the right questions, not believing or denying, but testing. And he doesn't present this as abstract philosophy. He builds it like a mental toolkit you can use in everyday life. Let me make it practical. The next time you see a claim, whether it's about health, performance, or a video that starts with, "They don't want you to know this," a few key questions can help you evaluate it in seconds. So, what are those questions? Sagan's answer is what he basically calls a Baloney Detection Kit, a simple way to filter claims before they filter you. First, can this be independently verified? If the only support is the person selling it, or a closed circle repeating the same story, that's not confirmation, that's echo. Second, is it testable, and could it be proven wrong? If a claim is designed so that no outcome can ever count against it, it's not knowledge, it's a belief with armor. Third, what's the quality of the evidence? Anecdotes can be moving, but they're not a measurement. A single, "it worked for me," doesn't tell you what happens for most people, or why it happened at all. Fourth, are there simpler explanations? Before you accept the most dramatic story, check the boring ones: coincidence, bias, misinterpretation, marketing, or plain old error. And here's the key idea Sagan keeps returning to. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence, not extraordinary confidence, not extraordinary storytelling. Evidence. Now let's make this real. Imagine a product that promises, in 10 days, you'll burn fat, fix your hormones, boost focus, improve sleep. Guaranteed. The kit forces you to ask, where are the controlled studies? Who replicated them? What's the effect size? What are the side effects? If the answers are vague, what you're looking at isn't science, it's sales. Or take the classic viral video that starts with, "They don't want you to know this." That's a psychological move. It frames disagreement as oppression, and it makes you feel like you're joining a secret club. So you ask one brutal question: what evidence would change your mind? If the answer is nothing, then the claim isn't strong. It's closed. When a culture gets comfortable with claims that feel true instead of claims that can be shown to be true, the damage doesn't stay in private conversations. It shows up in public decisions: health, education, energy, the environment, the economy, areas where mistakes have real costs. Sagan's point is simple. We live in a world powered by science and technology, but most of us interact with it like magic. Phones, medicine, satellites, algorithms. We use them every day without understanding the thinking that built them. And that gap creates a vulnerability, because if you can't evaluate evidence, you don't just become easier to mislead, you become easier to govern through slogans, fear, and confidence. This is where Sagan gets almost political, but not partisan. He's talking about the survival of a free society. A democracy depends on citizens being able to tell the difference between a strong argument and a well told story. If people lose that skill, public debate stops being about reality and becomes a competition in persuasion. The loudest voices win, expertise gets treated like arrogance, and complexity gets punished. And notice how this works. Once evidence is replaced by tribal identity, my side says it, so it must be true, then correction feels like attack. At that point, even good faith criticism doesn't land, because it's no longer about the claim. It's about belonging. So Sagan's message isn't be cynical, it's be equipped. Keep your sense of wonder, but pair it with discipline. Enjoy big ideas, but demand good reasons. Because the cost of sloppy thinking isn't just that you might believe one false thing. The cost is that you can be pushed toward decisions, personal and collective, that you can't defend with facts. Now, Sagan doesn't stop at spotting nonsense. He warns that when this mindset spreads, it stops being a personal problem and becomes a societal one. If you take one thing from this book, take this: don't outsource your judgment to confidence. Slow down just enough to ask, how would we know? Who checked? What would prove it wrong? That's the difference between being informed and being influenced. So here's the test. The next time you hear a claim that hits you emotionally, fear, hope, anger, don't share it. Don't argue it. Pause and run it through Sagan's filter. Ask one question: what would count as disproof? If the answer is nothing, it's not information, it's persuasion. Now your turn. Drop the most convincing claim you've seen this week in the comments. In the next video, we'll put the top ones through the kit live